It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That's brand new stuff from the album Love and Scars. That is called No More Yesterday. That's Jerry Gaskill from King's X fame on that song. And on the phone right now, we have the drummer himself. It's Jerry Gaskill. Jerry, how are you, man?
Doing great, man. How you doing?
Excellent, man. Well, Jerry, I gotta say, man, this record, a little surprising because, and I guess it's a little surprising because no matter what you've done outside of King's X, anything that you do is going to be compared to King's X. Is that fair to say?
Well, I guess to a certain extent that's going to be somewhat the case, I guess.
Sure. But this record, very, very cool stuff, has that big Beatlesy kind of vibe to it. Very storytellerish. It's just a very cool record, man. So congratulations, first and foremost.
Thank you very much, man. I dig it myself.
Excellent. Well, Jerry, Love and Scars, at least in my opinion, as outsider that knows nothing about it other than the name on the cover, seems to be like it might be a very personal release. Is that the case? And and if it is, talk a little bit about the situations that led you to write so many of these songs.
Well, everything I do is very personal. I only know how to do things that way. I only know how to give of myself and what's inside myself. There have been a lot of things happen to me the last 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these songs were written even before those things. And I find that the lyrics somehow, sometimes end up being almost prophetic in a way, because they talk about situations that I realize hadn't happened yet, but that happened now.
Wow.
And so it all kind of fits into all different times, if that makes any sense at all.
No, it does. Absolutely, it does.
Yeah.
Do you, when you were listening back to this stuff, especially the stuff that came before the health problems and whatnot that have been going on with you, when you were reading it back to yourself or working on it, did you have a feeling of something coming, or was that just not the case and it just worked out that way, or what?
I'm not really sure if I understood that question.
Well, meaning where you just said that it turned out to be prophetic. Did you feel when you were writing the songs almost? I don't want to say did you feel doom and gloom coming to you, but did you? You see what I mean? I
don't know if I necessarily did feel that.
Okay.
Because when I look at the situations that have happened to me, the heart attacks and Sandy and all that. It doesn't feel like doom and gloom to me. It feels like all hope and all new life and another chance and moving on and becoming better and stronger. So that's how I see things. But the things that I wrote, I think at the time I might have been feeling a little bit more doom and gloom because they're more about relationships. Mm-hmm. And they were, situations that happened to me, physically or whatever.
Sure.
So I don't know if that makes any sense either, but that's what I said.
Sure. Well, and I'll share a personal story with you, because I can sort of relate on not a musical level, but I write books, and I write books.
I do that too.
Okay. Excellent. So then you'll get this. The book I'm working on right now, I was in an industrial accident 21 years ago and standing in front of a molten metal furnace that burned me up, 69% third degree. So, and I personally take that, I take that scenario that as people ask me all the time about, do I look at it as, the worst thing in my life or whatever? And I tend to come out of it and say, no, not really. Because before that happened to me, I did not get started with anything. I wasn't busy. Now I own businesses and I write books and I have this radio show and I do a lot of things now that I wouldn't have done, before my accident happened. And I know writing it helps me really keep it uplifting for me to get it all out, get the ugliness of it out, and then to, focus on the good parts after. I'm curious for you if with music, if you feel some of that same kind of of a feeling.
Well, I guess to a certain degree, for me, music has just always been what I do. It's that part of my life that's been constant as long as I can remember. So it's not like these things happen to me and all of a sudden now I'm inspired to do music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just am inspired by everything. And these so-called tragedies or whatever you want to call them that have happened to me have ended up being the best things ever. And I am more motivated in a lot of ways. And I feel more in tune with my body.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all just helped me, I think, or at least I feel like they've helped me become a better person.
Sure.
And a stronger vision to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't feel any tragedies at all, even though the first heart attack basically took my life completely away.
Right.
I mean, had I been alone, had my wife not been there at the time, I would be dead. There's no possible way I could have recovered from what happened.
Right.
And I have no recollection of it even happening at all. My wife saw it happen. She saw me go down. She saw the whole thing. She revived me or helped try to revive me, called 911, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But had I been alone, I wouldn't have even known it happened. And that, in a sense, makes me feel like I have a type of kinship with death.
Right. No, I understand that. And I know for me personally, and I'm wondering this for you too, is part of the motivation that you have now, that sense of, well, tomorrow is definitely not guaranteed. You know, and while everybody says that, guys like yourself or myself that have been through something major, we really know that to be true.
That is absolutely true. I do know that now. I do see that nothing is certain anymore. Tomorrow's not certain. The next second is not certain.
Right.
For all I know, we could be on the phone right now, something fall out of the sky, hit me in the head and kill me.
Right.
You know, I mean, anything at all can happen at any given moment. So it's always best to, I guess, try to live your life the best way you feel you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'm kind of getting there. I'm kind of feeling those things.
Okay.
You know, I mean, life is still life. I mean, life is always a drag to a certain extent.
Right.
But, you know, we can have hope.
Absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with hope, and hope feels pretty good sometimes.
Certainly, man. Well, since we're talking about the health problems, how is your health now? I mean, have you been able to, I don't know, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about heart attacks other than what everybody knows is that if you eat too much McDonald's, you're doomed to have them. But, you know, I mean, I know there's a lot more to it than that. How is your health? Have you been able to, like, change your diet to fix things, or is it just something that you're always going to have to be careful on, or what?
Well, for me, it's a genetic thing. That's what my doctor tells me.
Okay.
He tells me to blame it on my parents. So I do. I blame it on my mom. She's had 2 heart attacks. She's had open heart surgery. She's doing great. She's 85.
Wow.
She's doing great. But that's basically what it is for me.
Okay.
I'm not a big man. I try to eat right. I try to eat good. I was taking care of myself. Up for the first heart attack, I was running for like miles.
Wow.
You know, and up hills and down hills all over my town, and you know, wherever we were on the road, we'd get off the bus and I'd see this beautiful hill, and I thought, I gotta run that.
Wow.
And the next thing I know, I'm dead.
Oh, wow.
And I wasn't aware of it. I just didn't know that I was dying the whole time, and it was inevitable that I was going to die.
Wow.
And I had no idea, and it helped me to realize that we all should probably get our bodies checked out, because we never know what's brewing inside.
Sure.
We might feel great, but something might already be in there, just waiting for this one last second to just take your life away. Mm-hmm. That's what happened to me.
That's just.
So now I'm. I think I said earlier, I'm much more in tune with my body.
Sure.
My body tells me what it wants, what it doesn't want. I'm working out every day. I'm seeing a personal trainer. And that's what I have to do. I have to do that in order to stay healthy.
Right.
My body will wither away if I don't work it really, really hard. That's just the way my body is.
Okay.
It doesn't hurt anybody to do that.
Well, sure.
That's what I've chosen and realized that I have to do. So I do it.
So now,
and I look forward to it.
Right. Now, Jerry, how does this change you being a professional musician? Because certainly, the road is tough, and people don't understand how tough it is on guys like yourself or bands like King's X that are not Aerosmith, that are flying in on a first class jet and living in a $10,000 a night suite. When you're going in a on a bus or in a van or whatnot from town to town to town, that is very tough on the body. Does that change now for you? As far as
what happened.
Go ahead.
Since the first heart attack, the first gigs that we did, since that happened, we opened for Kansas.
Okay.
And what Kansas does is they fly in and just play weekends. They fly in, rent vehicles, drive to the shows, or very drivable distances, and they go home. Do like 3 shows over the weekend, go home, do it again, and that was really appealing to me.
Okay.
So we decided to do that. I think we all kind of liked it.
Sure.
I think Ty and I like it a lot. I'm not sure about that. I think Doug likes being on the bus and hanging out with people.
Right.
But I personally don't need that anymore, and I don't even know if I want to do that unless, like you say, we're Aerosmith, we have our own private jets, our own buses, and staying in nice hotels, whatever. But that's basically what we're doing now. We're doing weekends where we can fly in, rent a vehicle, stay at a nice hotel, and then go home. And I can deal with that.
Sure. So does that kind of, without saying it, are we kind of saying that there's not going to be very many solo dates to promote this record?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Oh.
I'm willing to get out there and do it. I'm
Okay.
ready to do whatever it takes. I don't know if I don't know if I could do maybe I could do a van tour. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. Haven't quite gotten totally to that point yet.
Okay.
But I do want to do shows. I definitely want to do some shows.
Very cool. Now let me ask you, I'm going to dig into the record a little bit. The song that stuck out to me listening to the record, and I'll be very honest with you, I've only gotten to listen to it like 4 or 5 times, so I haven't really tore it apart or anything. I've just kind of listened to it, and I'm a Beatles guy, so for me, that kind of 67 to 70s Beatles sound is sort of where you sort of weave in and out of a little bit. But the song I liked the best was the song Hypothetical, and that one seems to me to be the one where you're not as direct as some of the other ones. What is that song about?
I think it's about 4 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that. That's 4 minutes, 4 minutes and 40 seconds.
Right.
Something like that, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, that song, the chorus, Hypothetical, a medical man who speaks Greek, I'll tell you where that came from.
Okay.
My youngest son, when he's about maybe 10 years old, came up to me and said, "Hey, Dad, I've got this line for a song, hypothetical, a medical man who speaks Greek." And I thought, wow, that is really kind of clever. I like that.
Right.
I want to incorporate that into a song. So I came up with a melody for that and, put it into a song. And the rest of the song, I had I told this story before, but I was really into Glassjaw at the time.
Okay.
Not that this song sounds anything like Glassjaw. It doesn't at all in any way whatsoever.
Right.
But they had a song, I can't remember now, but some of the lyrics were something about a girl being pretty, or the word pretty. And I had just met my wife, who wasn't my wife then, but she is now.
Okay.
and I just thought of the word pretty, so I picked up the guitar, I played some chords, and this melody came into my head for the verses. And so the reason I bring up the hypothetical part, my son told me this when he was like 10. This was many years ago.
Okay.
And I guess we all know I've had 2 heart attacks since then.
Sure.
And after the first heart attack, my cardiologist, who's still my cardiologist, I go to his office and see him on a pretty regular basis. And he's a medical man. And when I'm in his office, he sometimes speaks Greek to me.
Okay.
Because he's Greek.
Right.
So I found that very, very interesting.
Right.
Sort of like that pathetic thing I was talking about earlier.
Right.
And I mentioned that to him too, and he thought it was quite interesting. almost took him back on it. Oh, that's really something.
Right.
So that's sort of a basic outline of that song.
Very cool. Now, Jerry, when you guys do these, when you all seem to venture off away from King's X a little bit and do solo stuff, you all do. Do you do it to exercise the creative pieces that you guys have built up that just aren't fitting with King's X, or do you guys just sometimes just need to take a break from King's X, or what is it that I never understand what it is that leads musicians that have a successful project, regardless of the amount of success, whether it's, King's X is a known entity, and anybody that's followed rock or metal in the last 25 years knows King's X. So I'm always curious what it is that drives you guys, yourself or Doug or Ty, to try and do other projects away from the band element.
Well, I know for me, there's music inside of me that will never make it to King's X.
Okay.
Because King's X is three different guys who all feel as strongly about all the music that they make, all the music inside them. And there's just not enough room for all of our music, I think, just in King's X.
Right.
So we have to step outside of that sometimes and just do these other things. So I think that's the reason. There's just too much going on inside that, can't just be contained in this one entity, like you're saying.
Sure. No, absolutely. That makes sense. Now, I'm sure you've heard it. What did you think of Doug's project, that KXM record with George Lynch and Ray from Korn? I mean, that's very different for him and really for Lynch as well.
Yeah, I like that. I listened to it just the other day, as a matter of fact, when I saw Korn.
Okay.
And not too long ago, and I told Ray, I said, I don't even think I have a KXM CD.
Oh, wow.
So he gave me one, and I listened to it, and I dug it.
That's cool.
That's some really cool things on it.
Sure. It's a very different sounding thing than I think any of those guys have done previously.
Right, again, it's three different people.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you bring different people together. It turns into something different because you have all the input of everybody rather than just yourself. And I think that's another reason why we sometimes, or at least I, feel the need to do solo work, because it's all me. Right. I'm in control. I decide how it happens. I decide how it sounds. I decide how the songs will ultimately be.
Right.
And that's kind of a freedom for me. I don't have to feel any pressure coming from anywhere to do anything except what I want to do.
Sure.
And I think we all might need a little bit of that.
Now, 5 years down the road, which albums will you look at and feel closer to? The ones that are your solo projects that are all you, or the King's X material, or will you not even be able to make that kind of a decision?
Well, I don't know. Right now, all that's on my mind is Love and Scars.
Okay.
I think Love and Scars is the most proud I've ever been of anything I've been involved in. I actually listened to it myself, which I don't normally do with other things I've been involved in. I do it first, when we're making it, and when it first, it's about to be released, I listen to it, and then it just kind of fades away.
Right.
But for some reason, Love and Scars is a record that I just want to hear all the time. So I think that's going to be up there for me.
Sure. Definitely. Yeah. Well, it's better than having something that you played on that you just can't listen to anymore now, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's the case with everything I've ever been involved in, even Love and Scars.
Okay.
There are times when I just feel like, oh man, this is just nothing. This is not good. This is not, it's just the way I am. I can't help it. Everything I'm involved in is either the greatest or the worst or both, all at the same time. And I have to somehow try to find a balance and just let it be and move on, which I have to do every time because all those records are out there, so I had to do that.
Right. Us guys that report on what you guys that make music do, we have a saying that there's never a musician that's ever liked anything they've ever done because
It's just the way it is.
It is. It's so crazy. You watch a band and they play a kick-ass set, you know, as an example. They play great. Play a 2-hour set. It's fantastic. Everybody walks away happy, and then you talk to somebody as they come off the show and say, hey, great set. They'll be the first ones to tell you, yeah, it was all right, but I messed up on this song here, and I missed the note, you know?
Oh, yeah. I think it's like anything in life. The things that are bad are the things that we focus on.
Right.
And that's what we know. We have no idea what you're hearing out there.
Right.
You know, we hope for the best. We always give everything we have and give our best. But, you know, we know what we hear on stage. We know what we're feeling. We know what we miss. We know all that stuff. And those are things that we focus on.
Absolutely. You know? Certainly. Well, Jerry, the new record, it is called Love and Scars. It's really good. It's definitely got my endorsement as a Beatle-y type of a person, and as somebody that just likes this kind of like singer-songwriter type music. Very good stuff, man. So I hope it does well for you. What's on the agenda for 2016 for yourself or for King's X or both, or what's going on?
Well, I'm hoping that to do some Love and Scar shows possibly, and King's X is talking about doing another record.
Okay.
You know, possibly in 2016. We're actively pursuing that. I keep saying if anybody's holding it back, it's probably me. So I just want to feel really ready to do the next King's X record. I want it to be the best thing we've ever done. I don't want to just throw something together. I want it to be, you know, something we've worked hard on, we all believe in, and you know, I want to be able to give everything I have and feel good about it.
Sure.
We're actively pursuing it. So it's going to happen.
Okay. Excellent, man. Well, Jerry, as a tradition on the show, we always let the artist pick a closing track from their new record. So what would you like us to wrap this up with, and maybe tell us a quick story about it?
Well, man, I love them all, I have to say that. But why don't we do, how about No More Yesterday?
Okay. And why that one?
Do you know that song?
Yeah.
Well, it's a song that Dan and I, the guy I made the record with, Dan Carcos, we just love that song. We know how it came together, and Earl Slick plays guitar on it. I don't know if you know who Earl Slick is.
Earl, I do not know.
Earl Slick was David Bowie's touring guitar player for many years.
Oh, wow.
Played on John Lennon's last record, Double Fantasy.
Oh, okay, wow.
He's just a unique, great guitar player, and I love him as a person. And he played acoustic, and he does the lead on this song, which I think is just the most perfect lead that could have ever been played for this song, and all the things he did. And my wife, she says she never listens to guitar. She just listens to this song, and she likes the song. But she says, this song, every time Earl comes in with a lead, she has to air guitar to it. She likes it that much. So there you go. Let's play that one.
All right. Well, let's check it out right now. From Love and Scars, this is No More Yesterday. It's Jerry Gaskill right here on your Classic Metal Show.